Right, welcome back. It's still the breakfast on Plus TV Africa. We're celebrating International Women's Day. I mean, I'm not wearing purple, but which is the color of today. But this is close to I'm sure it's close to purple. On March 8th, each year, the International Women's Day is commemorated to honor women's accomplishments in society, in the economy, in culture, in politics, in other areas. It focuses on recognizing the efforts made towards achieving gender equality across all domains of life and identifying the work that must be done to ensure it. The theme for the 2023 International Women's Day, Embrace Equality. Of course, it's focus on gender equality in all ramifications. You're looking at innovation and technology. You're looking at different aspects of society. The aim for the International Women's Day 2023 Embrace Equality campaign is to get the world talking about why equal opportunities aren't enough. People start from different places, so true inclusion and belonging require equitable action. To tell us more about this, we're glad to welcome our guests this morning on the program to talk women empowerment and gender equality. We have Dr. Nesochi Okeke Igbokwe, who joins us via Zoom. She's a health expert, and she is in New York City in the United States of America. We also would like to say good morning, first of all, to Dr. Nesochi. Doc, good morning to you. Thank you very much for your time.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, as always.
All right. Apart from Dr. Nesochi, we have a second guest on the program this morning, of course, joining us via phone call. I'd like to also introduce the second guest, Omotunde Adebowale David. She's quite popularly known as Adaku in Jennifer's Diary, aka Lolo One. Omotunde, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
All right. It's a pleasure to have you, ladies. A great pleasure. And I'm so privileged to be doing this as a man and a supporter of women empowerment on such a very important day. We're hearing that we ought to embrace equity. Embrace equity. That is the theme for the International Women's Day 2023 campaign. And we can see last year it was the hand, going across each other, left and the right hand in an X sign. And this year, women are doing this. We're all told to do this. When you hear embrace equity, Dr. Nesochi, what comes to mind and what are we talking about when we're told to embrace equity?
Well, first and foremost, happy International Women's Day to women all around the globe. This is truly a time to celebrate women and girls for all of their achievements. So, women in medicine, I salute you. Women in journalism, I salute you today. Women in all different sectors, from the arts to STEM to politics. It's really a time to celebrate these achievements and accomplishments. However, there is still this continued struggle for equality, justice, and representation in all of these fields. And the theme this year, as per the UN, is digital, basically innovation and technology for gender equality. Essentially, the digital revolution has left out an integral component of the world, and that is the component of including women in the digital revolution, in the digital world. What exactly does that mean? When you think about your day-to-day life, there's this strong integration of technology in the digital world. It helps us basically navigate our day-to-day world, from the use of mobile phones, the use of the internet, simple things, online banking, booking a doctor's appointment. You need the digital world to progress and move forward. Our data has shown us that women have not been totally included in this digital revolution. Some data from the UN showed that 37% of women do not use the internet for various reasons. This is worldwide data. So what does that mean when you have this cohort and population of women who are not using the internet or not having access to the digital world for various reasons? It leaves them out of the conversation when we talk about things like optimizing their health with the digital revolution that's been going on. And the key example I can give is just thinking about the COVID pandemic in general. It brought about changes and transformation and access to health in terms of digital telemedicine platforms that one can use in order to access your doctor during all of the lockdowns that we had in the past. But what happens when you have somebody that is not able to have that access to the internet, that is not able to have that access to these digital platforms, to have that communication with their doctor during a critical component of the pandemic. So I think the goal at this point is really, yes, we're celebrating women, but it's also a call to action as well. The call to action for the government, for those in the private sector, to really make the digital world more inclusive and more equitable for women and make it more safe for women in general. We're really talking about removing any barriers or hurdles that one may have when we talk about accessing the digital world. We're talking about educating more women in the sciences, in technology, in engineering, and mathematics. So guess what? They are able to now have a seat at the table moving forward.
All right, all right. The International Women's Day organization, of course, is using the hashtag Embrace Equity, which they're saying is much more important than equality. And of course, the United Nations is saying accelerate equality. And of course, like you said, digital, talking about women empowerment, especially in the tech space. I'll come to you, Omotunde. In Nigeria, what are the challenges women face when we talk about technology, information technology? We are in the age of artificial intelligence, of course, with the rise of artificial intelligence models like ChatGPT. What challenges do Nigerian women face in that space?
Thank you very much. I want to say Happy International Women's Day to every woman who is making their mark in everything that they're doing in Nigeria, particularly. In the tech space, I would say for us in Nigeria, we should start from even having very good access to internet or or internet that is free flowing and easy to navigate. I think that's where our own challenge starts from. A lot of women are beginning to open their eyes into the tech world. Even in Nigeria, we are beginning to see more women take, more leadership roles in the tech world, and that is something that has been happening for a couple of years now. In fact, in Nigeria now, we're beginning to recognize women in tech particularly, and we have a lot of women that are pushing, for more recognition and inclusion in that particular space, even though our country has its own peculiarities or our own limitations, even having access to internet that even flows. That one is one of the major challenges that Nigerian women will say is facing. But in technology now, we're seeing that the world is including everyone. And Nigerian women are very, very vocal and up to the task in, drawing away that negative bias that women cannot take space in the tech world. We're beginning to dispel those kinds of norms. We are beginning to see more inclusion of women in the tech space here in Nigeria. And I think that's something really commendable for us women in Nigeria. Even though our younger women are being mentored now. I know last year there had been a lot of advocacy for women in tech. A lot of banks have been, supporting events that, training women in tech. And we can see a lot of more young women coming into the space because we're getting a lot of more education. We're getting a lot of more exposure. We're beginning to see women mentors, emerge in those kinds of spaces. And I think that is making Nigerian women more visible in the tech space. And that makes us, very relevant in the global, looking at it globally.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm also going to stay with you before I come back to Anesochi. You were in the movie industry, and of course, I mean, technology is a big driver of that space. How can what's been your experience as a practitioner in entertainment, which is being driven by technology today? What challenges are being faced in that space, and how can the technology that drives entertainment, create more understanding about these issues and even bring about equality? We're talking about equality. We're talking about innovation and technology being used to drive equality. So how can that space, the entertainment space, which is driven by technology, drive gender equality?
All right, thank you so much. In my industry, we have a crop of women filmmakers. I'm a producer myself, and I know that technology is very, very important in what we do. You cannot even do film without technology. Everything you're going to be working with is technology driven. And even in the space where you're going to be showing your works or showcasing your works, of course, is driven largely by technology. What we need more for our own industry is more training, because we have very specific, we need some specific applications, even in filmmaking, to be able to, be at par with our contemporaries in the world. Even before we have access, but we have limitations on many sides in Nigeria, maybe finance sometimes, because there are new innovations coming out every time, and of course they're costly. And before you are able to access them, it might take a little time. But we need more exposure. We need more funding for filmmakers to be able to access the kind of technology that our contemporaries in the world are using. A lot of people will say, oh, we want to begin to produce things like maybe 4D images, 5D images, 6, to the level at which we can see people doing abroad. But that here, we need education first. Then, to be able to even know what is applicable for our industry, then largely funding and more training. I can't even overemphasize the amount of training that we need in the industry to be able to push for technological advancement in the filmmaking industry. And this general mindset that this industry is basically male dominated. And a lot of women will see like, oh, it's something I cannot surmount. But thankfully, we're beginning to see more education come out, more opportunities are being created to put women in the mix. And I think that even for the film industry, where we're making strides, I wouldn't say giant at the moment, but I believe that we're putting our feet in the door at the moment.
All right, Dr. Anesochi Okeke-Bokwe, how can technology be used to educate people, to drive change in our society? And we have a great amount of challenges, more than in this part of the world than in the United States of America. You have the benefit of experience in both systems. How can technology drive the change we seek, and in ensuring gender equality and women empowerment?
I think for the most part, we still need to continue to promote women's participation in science and technology. And the best driving force for that is basically ensuring that from a younger age, we are removing all of the barriers or any barriers to having access to education in STEM. That is key. Data has shown that women make up only 22% of the AI workforce globally. The numbers are still disappointing when it comes to the world of AI. But overall, in science, technology, engineering, mathematics, that needs to start at a younger age. I think one of the things that need to be done to kind of remove some of these barriers and these hurdles is from an early age, we need to continue to remove some of the damaging stereotypes that exist about women in these fields. In Nigeria, we've had centuries of a patriarchal society. We have these negative stereotypes sometimes that emerge from the past that basically try to pigeonhole women to let them know that, or to try to tell them that there are certain roles that are specific for them. But the world is changing. We have advanced. We need to make sure that we educate our young women and ensure that they have access to a lot of the science and tech education in order to help promote and advance their careers moving forward. I think when we talk about digital world, digital revolution, we've had advancements in the ways that we even obtain our education. Again, during the global pandemic, we kind of shifted to a more online world. So we need to ensure that there is equitable access to the online world for women and young girls. But with that said, we need to also ensure that that is a safe space for them as well. We need to eliminate any kind of issues with online gender bias that can occur in the form of cyber stalking that can occur in various ways that can negatively impact a young woman.
Doc, we need to run off. I'm so sorry. We need to run off. But what you've said is so important, and bringing women into the sector, just bringing them into the sector with some sort of affirmative action. I think you're saying, positive discrimination will help. You remind me of, a Ghanaian statesman who said, if you educate a man, you educate an individual. If you educate a woman, you educate a nation. And I think listening to you and Omotunde, I can say that applies to this digital world we're talking about, where we need to also bring in our women and girls and empower them. Once again, we're talking about equality in the digital space. I want to congratulate all of you for your advancements in your different fields, Omotunde and Nesochin. Thank you very much for joining us, and happy International Women's Day to you too.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. You listen to the voice of Omotunde Adebowale David. She's an actress, a filmmaker, producer, Adaku in Jennifer's Diary, a.k.a. Lolo 1, a very popular, and Dr. Nesochi Okeke Bokwe, a health expert who joined us from New York City in the United States of America. And that's the size of a package this morning on the breakfast on Plus TV Africa. My name is Kofi Bartels. It's been an interesting package. We'll return tomorrow with more. Stay with us for the news at 9.